everybody, this is Genjeft here, and we're back with some Steel Division, and this time it's a 4v4. And it's, on my side, Jenner, Barman's CZ, me, and Panzers, and then we have Makov, Mickey, Pope, and Ingvar on the other side. The 15th Infantry, Demi Brigade SAS, 1st Pansia Osurna, the Polish Armored Division, Guards Armored, up against the 91st Luftwand. Oh, come on. No. Bad. Stop it! 17 SS Panzer Grenadiers, 352nd Infantry, and 2nd Panzer. And I have the misfortune of actually being up against the 2nd Panzer with Mickey. So, what do I have? I have a Cromwell 6, a Cromwell 5, a Morris LRC, and then this guy with a command, and then a Sexton, which I deployed rather far forward. Mostly because if I need to, it has a AP power of 12, so if I have to throw it in as an anti-tank weapon, I can. And then we've got the CKM. This thing, if I'm correct, yeah, it's 4 armor. Not, to be honest, it's not a hell of a lot worse than the Cromwell with 7, and that is like no armor. These don't have much in the way of armor on them. So yeah, my idea was just to use these tanks backed up by the command infantry off the bat to push forward, and backed up by the Sexton. We do immediately see this Panzer. We don't really know what it is, and this thing exposes itself right away by firing at the rifles. So I'm trying to do the Cromwell trick, because I know where it is, so I'm going to start direct firing in front of it, and I kind of get interrupted by that thing. So this engages the Panzer IV-H, and this guy scores a pretty darn good hit on the anti-tank gun. But this guy, even backed up with a commander, doesn't quite achieve anything against the Panzer IV. And track's wheels damaged, and he's falling back. Did I actually get the shot on it? Yeah, I got one more casualty on that. Since this is stunned, well, I debated shooting it out with the Cromwell 6, but I just decided to back everybody off, because an HE-13 will stun this. And I've got my Sexton trying to stun it as well. Doesn't work, though. But I've got everybody out of range, so I'm going to drop some smoke down. And then proceed to pull back, because Jenner here has been kind enough to provide me some infantry support. So I'm just using his infantry to kind of like cover the front line and keep it pushed forward for a little bit while I take care of my stuff. But when I use a Panzer IV, they just kind of always die, like immediately. But when the enemy uses it, yeah, it's more than a match for my Cromwell. Oh well. Such is life. There's another Panzer IV over there. Jenner has managed to get into the hangars over here with his supporting Honey. And the rest of his infantry there. On the center left, Barman has managed to also get into this town. And he's got the captured Jagdpanther fighting a non-captured Jagdpanther up here. And then on the far left is Panzers, who has achieved this forward position here, giving us a 51-49, but we don't actually have a points lead yet. And I pulled my guys back for a while, because I wanted more tanks and more recon. Knowing that, with him having 2 Panzer IVs at 140 each, That is 280 out of 500 points, so he really doesn't have all that much else he could have deployed. And look, it's one of those guys. Six-pounder goes after the Stug. That's not going to end well, but there's going to be something interesting over here. So here comes another Cromwell 5, so I've now got two Cromwell 5s, be it one's damaged. And a Cromwell 6. I see him bringing in infantry now, so I know he's got infantry up here. And because I spotted it, might as well shoot with the Sexton. What do you bring in? So there's a line of infantry there, and he's moving forward with that. Which I can see. I can see this, but not everything else there. But since I saw this there, drive by here, I kind of just assumed there's stuff. And frankly, I think that was a good assumption. Some more recon. And a universal carrier with an anti-tank unit. I saw this move up, start artillerying that, and... oh, this is actually the other guy's Panzer IIIH. So I'm trying to keep the infantry there pinned, so it can't do anything with it there, and it doesn't mean... also with it being pinned, it doesn't affect the front line. Did you eventually get that, or did it pull back? Nope, it pulled back. In a fight that it could have probably won. And this thing is still there. Not the Panzer III over there. Some Fusiliers caught in the open by the machine gun carrier here. This got bombed out here, but oh well. Crossfire on the Sturm Pioneer, who throws smoke down, and out comes the Belguard. Which the Piat fails to hit, so the Belguard just drives up and boom, takes it all out. Which gives him assailant on this flank here. Meantime, knowing that there's still infantry there, I've got two Bedford trucks coming up with mounted infantry. I've actually ridden one of these. A friend of mine in England had one for a while. And I got to ride in it when I was over there. Pretty much the big problem is on my side of the map, as seems to be tradition. We're going to bring another Cromwell 6 and another Morris to help shore up this side of the map. And I'm using my little jeeps to kind of push the border back a little bit, try to take care of the assailant. This jeep almost dies, but he gets out of the line of sight. And I've got my infantry moving up to hopefully engage that guy, but he engages us, so... and there he goes. Oh, this jeep got spotted by the half-track and killed. Not a big deal. This guy took out the flamethrowers that were over there before he died, which is nice. See another half-track pop up there. I can see these half-tracks over here. And these guys have been spotted again by the machine gun and the Tripolstein. So they're not going to last very long there. And I see that they're bringing up their Panzer IV. So I try to get this guy up here. But it doesn't really work. Boom. And he fires before the smoke manages to go in. And this guy exposes his side, which drove me nuts. These guys got spotted. Oh well. The map remains a 50-50 split now. And I've got this guy pulling back into cover. I've got my Jeep there still providing kind of some force on the border there. I've also got a universal carrier and another command unit coming in. I put these guys on hold fires so they don't give their position away to the half-track. And that thing comes out and immediately gets hit. Doesn't kill it because it's an HE round, but it gets hit. And again, not quite stunned. But now I can see where the Panzer IV-H is. Fire again, falling back. Another blast will do it. This guy ends up pulling back. As Cromwell goes after that. And they've got infantry moving up. So I had to get a bit creative because I didn't quite have the tools I really needed for any particular point in this. I could have certainly had better tools than what I had, but work with what you got. I wasn't exactly planning on going up against the 2nd Panzer with the Polish armored. My recon is still there, so it can spot the Panzer IV-H, that, and this. And I see this Panzer IV-H moving in to engage, so I smoke it and move up my 2 Cromwells, one of which was damaged but is now repaired. This one's now repaired. So he pulls back into the smoke, seeing the tanks that have moved up to engage him. And he starts moving in over here because my guys have moved up over there. We've even got the Cromwell 6 moving up in support. But, because we got to Phase B, I have an Achilles and a Sherman 3 Dow coming. And he gets his wonderful Ju-88 bomber, which in one of the weirdest displays of marksmanship I've ever seen, kind of had a really spread out bomb drop there. Yeah. So these guys move up to try to engage my guys in the flank. And I try to start using my artillery to stun this Panzer IV. And I get it to fall back. I use a Hurricane Mark IV to stun, and its rockets to stun the Panzer IV-H over there, so it can't just attack my guys in the flank. And as he pulls back, my Cromwell 5 engages. And so does the Cromwell 6. Keeping him pinned and forcing him to fall back. And this guy just kind of drives up and forward and gets shot at by an anti-tank gun. Boop. Yeah, this Panzer IV-H turns out to be a bit of a pesky little bugger for a while. And I use my artillery to keep these tanks falling back. Or attempt to. And then, it being useful. Boom! Yeah. No more Salient for you on the edge of the map. Ah, my little Bren gun carrier died. What is the accuracy of the Piat? Supposedly it's 6. Which is the same as the Panzer IV-H. And the same as the Jagdpanzer. But this thing never seems to hit. First shot from the Jagdpanther jams the weapons on my Cromwell 5. And this just starts to force me back. Because I don't really have any real answer to it. I do have one Achilles, but that's not quite enough. Yeah, I tried to send that over there to get that and finish it, but that didn't quite work. This didn't get stunned like I kind of hoped it did. Send this guy up to there to push the border back. And Meke, being aggressive, pushes forward, exposes the Pack 40. Well, 6-pounder does a number again. I'm using my universal carrier to rush it up and then use it and then push back on the border. Although it could have just stayed back here, or I could have moved this Jeep over to there, but oh well. My Cromwell's kind of exposed, but I've got another Achilles coming. But he's pulled in 2 Jagdpanthers for 190 points. Jagdpanzers. These are like Panzer IVs. Panzer IV assault guns. They're not as good as the Jagdpanther. These are just the Jagdpanzer IV. But they still have more armor, a good deal more armor than the Panzer IV-H. So, try to stun him with the Sexton again, as I send my guys out front. They spotted this, and the commander just kind of ended up being a very useful distraction, because I shot the commander, which allowed my guys to just start shooting them. Tracks, wheels destroyed. And this guy, since these are an assault move, got distracted by the infantry. Allows me to take out the Panzer IV. And I spread my guys out to have a wider front to engage the Jagdpanzers. Boom. Of course, even exposed side there, my guy still fails to hit. But the sheer amount of shells coming does manage to pin it down. It keeps that one retreating. I lose a Cromwell. Of course, it's not the one that's falling back. It's the one that's providing actual useful fire support that I lose. So I end up losing 2 tanks in that to their 1. But I forced their assault wave back. And they have suffered some damage. And here comes the Hurricane again. Yeah, you see your anti-tank gun? I don't like it. In the process, it pins down the Jagdpanther. And then here comes the Scout Panzer. I keep calling this the Jagdpanther. It's Jagdpanzer, not Panther. They also have their half-tracks there. The Puma going down. I don't like those Pumas. Internal fragments takes the ammunition out. So I just decided to have everybody pull back. And this Cromwell is attacking the half-track. There goes the artillery, the anti-tank gun. Here comes the Sherman 5. But not really what I need to take these out. Especially this. This is a problem. So, because I lost ammunition, cower everyone behind the tree line. Leave this poor bugger out to scout. He dies. This guy's still there and hold fire, but he gets spotted. So they get that away. Kind of unfortunate that wasn't one of the scouts with an anti-tank weapon, because that would have been nice with it that close to these Jagdpanzers. And there goes my Jeep. Not exactly looking great at the moment. Because I've got all my guys hiding. This guy barely has any ammunition. My ammo truck is, of course, empty. It has spent all of its points, like, repairing. This guy comes out in front of everybody, get a little cheeky shot at him, wipe him out. This is all I've got to try to stop these and that Panther. And all I've got more to bring in at this point are Shermans. So knowing that they're over here now, and that there is someone I'm going to be able to spot, without all of them being able to open fire on my guys, I kind of poke out to attempt to get some shots off on stuff. And of course the command tank's like, oh, go on ahead! And ever so conveniently not helpful. And I lose an Achilles in the process. Launching smoke, but the smoke is always just falling slightly off. And it's not really working. So it's time to pull back behind the tree line again. And then use this carrier to be a little bit of a distraction. Boom. Internal fragments from Jenner's very conveniently well-timed 17-pounder. Gotta thank Jenner, because he was very much on top of supporting me, as in front of him, they weren't really pushing him very hard. That commander exposes himself to my tanks. And since that guy was spotted pulling back, I decide to push forward again and open fire with everything, including the Cromwell 6 that's over here. Now, one thing that's nice is even though I haven't actually killed them yet, the sheer number of hits they're taking has been damaging their units with hit points wise. Boom. So these things are being forced back. They can't fight back now, and I'm keeping the fire up on them. And interestingly enough, this is the first Sherman to kill one of these. It wasn't the Achilles, it was a Sherman. And now these two are taking on the Panzer III over there. And in the poorly timed infantry push, you know, they did launch smoke at a good time. That gets countered. And here comes a command infantry unit there that gets spotted. That half-track dies. That Puma dies. And there's an anti-tank gun there that takes out my recon, only to in turn be strafed by a Hurricane. And killed. I would have preferred to use the Hurricane on something more useful, like that, but oh well. This thing's got transmission damage. It's actually quite heavily damaged. If I keep pelting it with high explosive rounds from a Cromwell 6, it will eventually die. Or it can die from this. Hi, half-track. Yeah. So I've managed to throw back his attack. And now I'm throwing back the infantry assault. And he's trying to sneak up with the Panzer IV-H over here. Trying to hit my guys in the flanks. But I still have the Cromwell 6 covering it, so this thing comes out, immediately gets fired on, and forced back behind the trees again. I hope that wasn't my plane. That eventually dies to another unit. So I see the Panzer IV coming around, and I know that this isn't really something that can counter it, so I pulled this forward to lure in the Panzer IV. And then I drop smoke, so it doesn't have line of sight anymore, which forces it in the range of the Piat. And in one glorious shot that Piats don't usually make, boom. No more Panzer IV. Piat actually did its job for a change. It's not there's no Panzer IV over here. I bring a bunch of tanks in. Well, there's still the Panzer III. But that won't last all that long. This must not have any ammunition or anything. Also a very lucky shot from an Achilles. That'll take care of it. This guy gets smoked from one of the infantry units that's in there. What was it? Or it was my artillery that smoked him, because there's no infantry that can smoke there. Ooh, what is he bringing? Another Panzer IV-J. He's got 2 Wasps in the back, a Stug 3, and another Puma. And he's left his supply truck up front. The Panzer IV-J fell to the anti-tank gun that is there. Elsewhere on the map, my allies have done a much better job than I have at taking ground and advancing. I got mostly stuck by those Jagdpanzers. And there goes a Stuart. Boom! Eat your Panzer III's heart out. Stuarts can be amazingly effective on occasion. Accuracy of only 4. Here come my infantry. And there's that supply truck that was out front, fixing this back up, but he never actually finished it. I've got my own supply truck coming up to supply this guy and to fix these tanks. Well, that's caught in the open. And I know there's stuff here with a command because of the way the borders worked out. So I gotta hunt them down with my Stretsluki, or however it's pronounced, and kill them bit by bit. But this gives me assailant here, which pushes it to a 54-46 lead. Hi, Puma. Think you're safe? Well, you ain't. Here's a Stug. Bounce, bounce. And dead from the Achilles. What's the accuracy of that gun? 6 and 6. Find the commander, pin him down. Artillery use, and the infantry will take him out. I've also brought a second sexton in by this point. So yeah, the advance of Jenner is a little bit limited because I haven't been able to advance past this line here yet. I had to be forced back to here. But judicious use of high explosive, sheer firepower, and aircraft is able to take out the armored push. With a lucky shot as well. But the nice thing of falling back units is they panic and they freak out, and now, boom! As this guy just rakes up the kills. And now here's the Jagdpanther. This is a problem with 15 front armor and an 88mm gun. Not really what I want to be engaging. And the half tracks expose where the enemy 88 Pak 43 is. Spalling crew wounded. Starting to fire smoke to disengage from the Panther, the Jagdpanther. Or high explosive to try to pin it, apparently. crew knocked out. Which is nice. And I get it falling back. Which is good. Now it manages to live again. And that guy's a problem. But we keep him pinned. I'm trying to smoke the Panther A off. I've got another Piat here, hoping to sneak up the Piat. Hoping to sneak up the Dragoni as well. This guy fires at some infantry, exposing their position. Panthers move forward into sheer volume of fire and gets killed. And another 88 has been spotted over there. And that guy's in the wrong spot. Grenadiers destroyed. Trying to get this with artillery. I see this coming out. Yeah, so he gets a good shot off on my Firefly. Of course, before the smoke starts landing. Because that is how this works. Want to smoke something off? Well, too bad. My Stretsky engage the 88 when they see it. Trying to take this out and clear that little spot of trees there. And the Jagdpanda's busy killing infantry. Which is the way I kind of like it. Spot the commander. Send in the flamethrower infantry. Commander tries to smoke himself off, but nope. There he goes. But now just trying to keep this smoked off. And here comes a Panzer IV-J, and there's another Panzer IV-J right there. And another tank of some sort. This is still alive. Jagdpanther's pulling back. Panzer IV is engaging the Sherman. I see that the Panzer IV fires, and knowing I can actually engage it at close range, pop out, boom, Spalling shooter wounded, pull back to prevent this guy from firing. Once he's safely out of line of sight, just focus fire the Panzer IV. And eventually the Stuart kills the Panzer IV. I pull him back behind the tree line so that that Panzer IV can't kill him. A little bit of maneuvering with the scout tank. Did I get that anti-tank gun? Yes, I did. Although this one's still back there. He's got some infantry moving up, which I can see. I can see some of them. I've got this guy there. I don't think I know that I got that guy, so I'm still firing artillery at it. They finally get my rifleman. Panzer IV is not able to get a shot off. Nor is it being hit by anything. And there goes another half-track. Kind of using the half-track as a warning for when the Jagdpanther advances and these other tanks advance. And putting them in front, because people usually don't usually use hold fire on their anti-tank units. I put the half-tracks up front, and the next thing I know, all the enemy anti-tank guns are opening fire on the half-tracks. So, it gives their positions away. That's falling back. Here comes the Hurricane Mark IV. Screw your Panther. I've got artillery shelling this to, like, encourage him to not be there. As I bring in another supply truck and a bunch of infantry and half-tracks with another Firefly. I still have my original Fireflies, which are damaged, but that is what this guy's for, because he's going to go over there and resupply these tanks and take care of the damage. Panzer IV-J comes back for some more, gets behind the tree line. And now one thing that was nice for me is this is when McKay decides to try to copy what I was doing using smoke to cover my army. And he launches his own wave of smoke. Again, this guy exposes himself by shooting a half-track. And then he launches his bomber. Got a lot of stuff, but launched surprisingly late. My other artillery piece is over there now. These guys have met a 17-pounder from my ally on my left. And that actually gets one of my tanks. And I've just lost 2 anti-tank tanks as well to this Jagdpanther before my guys actually start firing smoke. And this guy's wheels are destroyed, so it's not like he can pull back. Suspension's damaged, he's pulling back now. Take that Panzer IV out, using my artillery to force that to withdraw. And since this came in and killed a tank and then sat there, called in a couple fighters to take care of it. Stug. This guy just can't pull back, so trying to use him. Trying to keep him up and fighting. Calling artillery on the Panzer IVs, because the Panzer IVs are affected by the artillery a good deal more than some of the other tanks. If I can stun them, they're a lot easier to kill. Boom. Weapons jammed. Of course, I killed the, I managed to kill the ground support unit, then forgot about my own planes. So now they're in a dogfight with 2 190s. And Jenner, again being useful as always, pops up with another Typhoon, with a Typhoon anti-tank. My planes are trying not to die. Get on to the 109 or 190. Thought this guy would be able to kill it before he was damaged, but no, didn't work. So again, my planes are getting slowly killed. That guy managed to get one. But I'm going to lose my 3rd plane right there. For not a heck of a lot. Not a very fair exchange right there. But that was my bad. And he just keeps flying over my front line for whatever reason. Yeah, I've almost got infantry into this tree line here, and this guy is now out poking about. And that Panzer IV-J is over there. I saw that this guy was in line of sight, pulled him back behind the trees. Yes, Ostrupen, you've exposed yourself. Not a good idea to do. But my allies elsewhere have done a very good job in advancing. Actually, I'm not all that far off from them either. Initial setback, but I recovered. And now I'm bringing up the mystical Piat that actually managed to hit something. And oh look, it's the Jagdpanther again. half-track dies to that 88 that just won't go away. So I call the sextons on it. And I've got my Hurricane Mark IV going in to start rocketing that, which forces it to fall back. Finally sending out artillery to get that, which finally kills it. They've got an 88 back there. That Hurricane will get out before the 190 catches up to it, and the 190 will be engaged by my Mustang. I lost another infantry unit, not a huge deal. This thing is trying to fall back, not succeeding. I call in a second fighter to go off after the one on 190. That thing starts pulling back, so I use it to go attack that. Pull my Mustang back, engage it with the other Mustang. This guy comes in from the side, he decides to try to pull back, but it's too late. Down he goes. I never actually deploy this guy before the end, do I? Nope, nope, that Panzer IV gets to live. But yeah, managed to come out with a 2-to-1 kill-to-death ratio pretty much. Everyone on my team comes out ahead, 2-to-1 or better. And the opposing team, good effort, but not quite enough. Now, the Cromwell 6 actually got the Panzer IIIH with that 95mm close support howitzer. The Achilles got the Panther 4H and the SP233. The Sexton got the anti-tank guns. And the Sherman 5 gets the first Jagdpanzer kill. Despite being flanked by Achilles, it's a Sherman 5 that kills the first Jagdpanther. And then this Achilles gets the next one. And it also gets the Scout Panther D. Now, I never got the Jagdpanther, but because I kept it stunned, there was only so much it could do. And in fact, if I go to losses, where is it? Yeah, it only got 3 units. A Cromwell 5, which whoopee, because that's a 300-point unit. So that's 120, that's like 10, and that is like 5. So, the Jagdpanther did not... Oh, that's still one of the Jagdpanzer. There's the Jagdpanther. This thing made its money back. Firefly, Dragoon, 2 half-tracks, another Firefly, and Achilles. And then the 88 just killed some infantry. And the Ju-88 was a bit annoying. And that guy, he was distracted elsewhere on the map, so he kind of left his Ju-87 to die. Which was nice for me. But yeah, hope you enjoyed that. I liked that because of the maneuvers I managed to pull with the Shermans and the Cromwells and the Achilles in the beginning to take out 2 of those Jagdpanzers and their supporting units, which should have been a breakthrough, but I managed to stun them down so they couldn't actually do anything. And then once they were stunned, it was an easy matter of just picking them off, even if it did take a volume of fire from multiple tanks from multiple directions to actually finally kill them. But, yep. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, and we'll see you next time. Thank you all for watching my video. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe if you enjoyed it. Also, don't forget to hit that stupid little bell thing that YouTube has added, because otherwise you won't get notifications of any new videos if you subscribe. Also, follow me on Twitter, @GenJeft, as I always have my video updates on there, so you will never miss a video if you're on my Twitter feed, because they'll all be posted. And any other dumbass comment I make as well. So, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, and we'll see you next time.